Well, Kenya, did you want to talk about anything about high school football or not?
Just the fact that we went from like I think that's where I left off at. Like we went from no spectators to having spectators to the visiting team allowed to come because then they weren't allowed to come at first, and then they were allowed to come, and then it was just the football players, and then it became the cheerleaders and the band. Like it was just so much because people was like, okay, if my kid is playing ball, I want to be there. Like, it's not fair that the parents aren't there. Some
Right.
high schools had that where the parents just didn't, they weren't allowed. We weren't allowed at the scrimmage last week or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
so we did all of that, and we social distance, and then the away team on the other side, they sat over there and they were clustered together. Like there wasn't
Mm-hmm.
no really social
There's
distancing
so many
on.
people to be on the sidelines. Was everybody there? Like all the
Everybody,
assistant
yeah,
coaches?
everybody was there. The players was together, but while they're down on the sideline, they're supposed to keep their mask up. Just like when the cheerleaders are in their stance and not cheering, they're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
keep their mask up. I feel like that shit is because I'm gonna take my mask down right now to cheer. Like
It
it's
don't make no sense.
crazy. It doesn't make any sense, and it's so
Mm-mm.
frustrating.
Nobody
And
wants the liability.
it's crazy. I'm over the COVID. I'm over the COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And the shit that comes along with it because the shit doesn't make any sense to me. But uh, high school ball has resumed. It's official week one yesterday. So I'm excited. I'm excited for football season. Period. Sec Fall is my second favorite season. Summer is my first, and I like fall. So
Mm-hmm.
it's that time of the year. I'm sad to see summer on its way out because of COVID, we all didn't have a summer like we've hoped to have. But yeah, I'm excited for football.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I definitely wanted you to talk about it because I know this is your season, your football mom, and this is just,
Yeah.
so we definitely need your input, your commentary as far as the game. So,
Um,
What happened to him?
the RC our school dropped the class. They went down to 4A from 5A, and my perception of what the coaches thought was going to be a cakewalk um, was a rude awakening for them last night.
That's what
mm,
I was saying. I was like, we would have never lost to them.
It was there's so much shit that I could say, and I want to
it's all
say.
right. We'll everybody stay on for after we end the recording because I need to know
Yeah,
things, but we don't even got to record it.
yeah, yeah. So,
But I know when
and
we were in
I
school, we
think that's
used
not
to be taught A at that time. So I didn't know that we went up to 5A. So
McKee Sport and when we were at 5A, I feel like we did really we did well in that conference. Like, in that section we did well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because our school district is big, but the numbers are dwindling because people are taking their kids somewhere else to play ball for the lack of change that our school district has has. And it's really, really sad because it's not about the adults. It's about the kids and their dreams and their futures. And the adults will be quick to blame the kids for some shit that they're not doing.
mhm,
And I'm not here for that shit, especially about nothing that I birthed. And he's out there playing. It's a whole problem. It's a whole
mhm,
problem.
mhm.
And I'm sure that I'm not the only football mom who feels that way about their kid out there in a program where you can see that there's no mentorship there. Okay. There's no what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but like there's not I don't feel the love, the unity that you usually see with a football team. Everybody's frustrated. And granted, they football camp is usually where kids come together and they start building those bonds and those relationship with the other players because they spend a week together at football camp or whatever, and they didn't have that because of the pandemic this year. But still, I feel like it's even more important for the adults, the coaches, to step in to make sure that that happens because those kids need that. I don't see that, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Was it like that last year too? Also,
It was like that last year, but I didn't. It wasn't. My son still played for JV, so it
Hmm.
was like different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just a little bit different last year. Last year I wasn't able to watch the games. I was stuck at the concession stand, so I wasn't able to watch as many home games or whatever. I just yeah, it was like that last year, Tavi. Yes.
Okay.
okay.
Yes.
Oh, judging by what happened last night, we definitely need some type of change.
Immediately.
Hmm.
Immediately.
Yeah, because
And it's not the triple option, because the triple option is a good it's a good play, it's good to have in there. Like, you got the nerve, you as a coach, as a coach,
You gotta be innovative. You gotta do more than what we was doing in
what you're
previous.
doing.
Hmm.
Obviously, it doesn't work. We haven't won a championship since 2005. So in 15 years, we haven't won a championship. We didn't even make it there. Like, you as adults, nobody's taking responsibility of that. They will continuously blame the kids,
Mm-mm.
and that's what's wrong.
There's
Mm.
talent everywhere. There's talent everywhere out here.
There really is, and it's so crazy because even like when we was coming up, like us having just we were known to have a good football team. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
These
So
kids, these kids, these kids make us look like little kids. Though, man, these kids is built like freaking mutants out here now.
They're huge. They're huge.
Huge.
but
Yeah. So
no, but I think all I was saying was it's so crazy the whole transition from when we were coming up, even if because I know like when I was a freshman in high school, our high school team, which is the same high school team that your son plays for, we went undefeated that season. So in even seasons after that, even if we didn't go undefeated, they were still considered winning seasons.
mhm.
So to come from that place to where we are now, it's like, well, what happened?
No, but
But
that could be a bad thing though too, um, because that's the problem. That's probably the reason why there what ain't isn't any change. That's just like when somebody's not
thank
good
you,
at making
Tavi.
3 pointers and they make like three pointers in a row. Sometimes that can hurt because they're going to shoot a whole lot and they're
Thank
going to
you,
miss a whole lot.
Tavi.
So basically,
Because go
uh,
ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just saying us winning in that short span, not many times, it caused us to be bold, whatever that's called, as far as like just not stubborn, basically.
Stagnant.
Stagnant and
Stagnant.
stubborn.
Is that the case, or was there any changes? There had to be
Well,
because that had to be like over 20 years since I've been there. So there's definitely been changes as far as the coaching staff has since we were in high school.
I don't know. I don't even know
So
if
do
that's
you think
going
that
right
that's
now. But if they're back to doing what we was doing, stuff changed so much over the years. Like everybody else's offense is changing. There's so much stuff you could do now with that triple option that wasn't even thought about back then.
They're not changing a thing.
If they're running the same play,
And
then
but you would
yeah,
think that with a newer, younger coaching staff that they would be up with the times and
yeah,
ready to roll with
innovative.
the punches.
Yeah, like they're not
stop.
innovative at all.
Stuck. There's so much talent. There's so much talent on the sidelines. There, if you would, in my opinion, I feel like you are, for you to be a true coach, a head coach, you you seek out the talent in the kids. Like, you don't put this kid there because their uncle played that position and you feel like he might be good at that position, or because his last name is this, or his size is this, so he goes there. That's not no coach. That's not coaching. Okay. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we got a lot of that, because there's a lot of talent on the team. Whereas the triple option that they run, it can be successful. It can be successful, but they're not even giving these kids a chance. They're not even giving these kids a chance.
But don't you think sometimes too much talent can be a hindrance too, though?
Too, too much talent.
Only if you
No,
don't know how to use it.
only if you don't know how to use it. Too much talent. If I was a coach and I know I got all this talent and this potential, and I'm able to work my playbook to use these players to run down on my opponent, no matter what play I put in, I got a kid that can execute that. And if he can't, there's another kid over there that can execute that. Why wouldn't I use that? Everybody can eat.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can eat.
Everybody could eat. Yep. And yeah, because I mean, I think in order for me to understand that, I equated to even working in my corporate job and being like a supervisor in a certain department. You look at everybody and you see what they do. So when you're asked which person's good at what where, you be like, all right, this person, I would really like to see this person here because they have a strength in this area,
Now,
blah 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 blah. And then this person,
plus you
maybe you
gotta
should pull back in
understand
this
this
area
though
because
too.
they're not so strong, da 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 da. So
But
I get it.
you gotta understand this too. First of all, when you evaluate people, is way different than game. Somebody could be the best at practice and freeze up in the game. That's first of all. And second of all, how do you construct your team when you might have somebody who's great at something but then good at a whole bunch of other positions? Do you put them where they're great at, or if you have somebody that's good at that position where they're great, do you move them to another position where there's weak and he's actually better? Like there's
I feel like
because
it.
there
I
could be
mean,
somebody that might be a better quarterback, but they might need them at a different position because they
me
already got somebody playing. So it could be
me
hard. Too
not
much
being
talent could
a
be hard.
me not being a football person, I just
I
equate it
understand
to
that.
like different areas of life. And I feel like there's a whole bunch of factors that would go into that. Like, how many people do you have that's good at quarterback? What is their level at quarterback? Could this person, is this the strongest person who could
But 9 times
even
out of 10, when you're talking about high school, the person that's had quarterback that's real good, when you're running the triple option, they can mess around and probably be the running back. They can probably be the fullback. They could probably be the receiver. They could probably be the cornerback. They're probably like a 5-star athlete. So,
they
do you?
could, but how many people would be good at cornerback? Is there somebody who could fill in that position and get the job done? How
Now,
many?
do you want to get the job done or be at the best at that position? Though that's a different story.
What's more important, the quarterback or the cornerback?
The quarterback, but what I'm saying is, if he play quarterback and then my cornerback sucks, then
Bobby.
I might lose the game because I'm giving up more points than I can score.
So whenever you said that, if the quarterback he's good at being a quarterback, he's good at being a fullback, blah, 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 blah. But then what if you got a kid, you got that player, right? But you got a player that their strength is only the quarterback. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's his strength is the quarterback. And you're not even looking at him because you're so focused on dude here because he's X, Y, and Z that you're overlooking this guy over here. You overlooking this guy over here, and I'm gonna bring it back again to the mentorship. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because those guys don't even get noticed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they might freeze up in the game, but be great at practice. That's where the mentorship comes into it. That's where those coaches, all those people on the sideline. Oh, I'm assistant coach. I'm the coach of the corner. That's where those fuckers come into play. Like, to bring these kids, like, you know what I'm saying, to
Because
coach these kids up.
I know
Yeah,
people that
yeah,
would.
because I think there's a difference between, because even me myself, I know there's certain areas where people saw stuff in me that I may not have seen in myself, and I needed somebody to pull that out of me in
Mhm.
order to get me to the level where I needed to
Or just
be.
at least guide you in
Right,
that direction.
right. So I mean, yeah, I mean, and that's the coach's job to be able to see that in
That's their
those
job.
kids.
But I
That's
just
their
know,
job. And they're not doing their job. I feel like they should be fired. Just like anybody else who's not doing their job, they should be fired. Period.
I played with people who might have been down near the fastest in the state and had good attributes and athletic ability, but they couldn't make it on the field because they froze up in the game. Every time they did get put in, nothing good came out of them being in the game.
But
So
whose responsibility is that to work on that for them? Because there comes a point where, and like, and here's another thing I can equate it to. Like, I sing in church. Like, I'm part of the praise team. Initially, when I was put in that position, I was nervous, scared, and everything. Now you give me a song, and I'm like, all right, I'm up there. Come on, let's do it. But initially, I was avoidant of doing anything that was in front of people. So I'm trying to equate that to the game of football. Like, you need somebody with guidance to try to guide them in order to make them feel comfortable
you do,
on the
but that's the
field.
problem with having so much talent is it's more like a factory. So if you're not getting it, you move to the back of the line. That's how it is. And it shouldn't be that way. Like you should take your time with these kids because I don't. I probably
At the level, at college level, yes. But that, I've watched them and seen them do at the youth level, and now they're doing it they do it in the middle school, they do it in high school. That shit is not fucking fair to them
it
kids.
ain't. It be
It's
like,
not.
Period.
especially
Hmm.
somebody who don't like. There's kids that don't even play anything until they actually got to the field, so they don't even know. So you should have to take your time with
But
kids.
isn't that
But
what the practices is for?
I'm
Like,
telling
I
you,
feel like
when
even, and I know, I'm sorry, I keep equating this to corporate America, but there is a specific person that I saw something in, and she was not that good at first, but I was like, all right, she's gonna be good, but she needs X, Y, and Z. And I just kept working on her and working on her and working on her. Now I feel like if I left, she could definitely move into my position without a problem.
now question though,
But
when
that's
you were playing,
because I worked on her that hard. Like, if I didn't do that, she would still be scary like she used to be.
coaches feel like they don't got time for that now though, and it's
It's your
hurting the kid.
job.
It
How
ain't
do you
doing
not
nothing
have
but
time?
hurting the kids
It's your job. How you don't got time?
because there's somebody behind them that will just gonna do exactly what I say. That's all it is. It's like if
All
everybody,
it is bullshit. You getting paid to do a job that you're not fucking doing. So if you don't do that job, you need to be fired. Period. That's how I look at it. And there's so many other coaches. You got assistant coaches. You got to have somebody in place who fucking cares. And I don't see that. And I don't
Mm.
see that. So you got teams that has won championship after championship back to back. Their program is airtight. You want to know why? Because their coaches is airtight. They're open to constructive criticism. They're open for the change. They're looking at all of that motherfucking shit. They had the
well,
um
it's always a communication the factor as far as when you're being as stubborn as certain coaches are.
yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
It's bad. You never win like that. You
Ever.
you're in even in basketball, even on the court. Like if you're a team that don't communicate soundly with each other, even in football, if the safety and linebacker is not communicating right, it's going to be a circus out there. So
Yeah.
you're right. If you don't got a coaching staff that's airtight and sound, the program's will have leaks.
It because you want to know why? Because the coaches is the foundation. I always look at that shit like it the foundation. If the foundation on a house is cracked, not sturdy, that shit's gonna crumble. Period. The foundation has to be sound and sturdy so you can build up from that. Like you
But
can't build on
every
something that's
organization
already broken.
every organization goes through this time frame though where it's like that to where they need a change and rollover. It just sucks being the people that's actually playing during that time frame because you are the forgotten people. Because you see it even in sports. We knew when who was before Bill Cowher? Chuck Noll.
Hmm.
You knew when it was time for Chuck Noll to be gone. They was only winning like 3-4 games.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and you move on. Like, it's not personal. It's business. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not personally attacking these people and their personal things, but as a parent, my first priority is my kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. And if this is what he's doing, then I gotta fight for what I know and I feel is right in what I see. Like, you know what I'm saying? The foundation is broke. That shit needs fixed immediately. And no, I don't know about other years past or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why shit ain't
Excuse me.
changing, but I'm going to see why the shit ain't changing and see how we can get that shit changed.
Hmm. Well, guys, that was good. We ain't gonna talk to almost an hour about football.
But I will say this: some of the people that was behind me and some of the people that didn't get on the field, they were talented, and they would gripe all day long about not getting playing time, and they wouldn't even look their way. So I will say that
That's
this has
sad.
been going on forever. The difference is that back then we was winning, so they gotta do some changes. And they gotta change.
Hmm.
They gotta
And then
change.
the winning, like Jess, you said, what year did you graduate?
98.
Okay. It
But I
was a
think
winning.
the undefeated team was in like 94,
Yeah,
95.
94 was
95.
that beat short them. That's 94.
Okay,
Hmm.
because that's 90. I mean, I'm not even thinking about the 90s. I'm talking about the 2000s.
Yeah, because
So,
I
Sorry, I
graduated
mean
in
you
2000.
already know. Like
We
I'm an
made
old
it to the
lady.
championship my senior year, but then in '05, that's when they went undefeated, right?
94, maybe it was 94, 95 school year. Yeah.
No, '94 and then '05. I want to say.
'05, they
Oh,
went to the
okay.
championship in '05. I know they went to the championship in '05. Nevertheless, that was 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's too
Yeah,
long.
and in my year it was over 20 years ago. But what I was trying to say is, well, what's the difference between then and now? Like,
I don't know.
because
The athleticism.
I'm sure. Well, I don't necessarily know if it's the athleticism because wouldn't most of the coaches from back in my day be gone?
But it's still the
If
same.
not all, most
It's
of them
still
probably
it's
gone.
it's
Um,
Wouldn't they
still
be
look.
gone by now?
It's still no. It's still the same format though. Even if the coaches are gone, it's still the same structure. And
Oh,
then you got to look at it like the athleticism. Bell Vernon. If we play Bell Vernon, we would have crushed them because they probably only had probably two black people on the whole team when we played. And then you got to understand as far as um, somebody like us, we got our whole team is athletic. You know what I mean? So even
so
if
are
we,
you saying that black people? I mean, are you saying that white people are less athletic?
no, I'm not saying that, but back then it was like if you're big, you're going on the line. If you, we don't care. Like there's certain positions. It was just like, and then you got to understand when we did play teams that was just athletic as us, like Penn Hills and Woodland Hills,
Hmm.
we would have trouble with them because we was a one trick pony. So we
Okay.
wouldn't do no adjustments during the game. Nothing. It is what it is. Like
Hmm.
why? Why?
So
I
now
got
that all these
I got a
teams,
huge problem with that. That's what I was just about to say last night. Like shit was not working out. But if you would have did your diligence at practices these few weeks and all of these guys you got hanging out who's they got their titles or I'm the assistant coach, I'm this, that, and the third. If the shit that you got in that's not working right, you know what I'm saying? Somebody should have been able to whisper in your ear and tell you, like, I got a little Willie over here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't, look at him, put him in, because that shit ain't working over there. Take him out, put him in, because there's talent over here.
Mm-hmm.
That's where our shit come into play. We don't got that. That's a fucking problem. I don't like it.
Do you
And I'm
or
just like
do you
1,000
think it's
about
a
that
matter
shit.
of
That's why I want to talk about that shit, because that shit ain't right.
now? Do you
It's
think it's
not
a
right.
matter of people being scared to speak up and say that? You
Yes.
think that's what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
yes, yes,
Yes.
and that was the
Yes.
one thing that
Yes.
nobody has a voice on the team, and that's
Yes.
the problem. Like that's how it was when it was with us too. Like I think we would have been way more better character, like as a character, like than being robots. It's almost like
Mm-hmm.
you're a robot out there.
Well, and I think that is a little thing too with my kid because my kid speaks up. Like,
Oh,
you know
that's
what I'm
good.
saying? He speaks up, so they're looking at him like, who the fuck is this kid? And it's not that he's being disrespectful. Like, you know what I'm saying? You cannot He's just not going to allow you to teach him or tell him anything that he knows in his heart is wrong. He's going to say something about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they'll look at it as a form as disrespect. Oh, well,
He
he
knows his position. Like,
period. My son has been talking fluent football since he was 3 years old. I'm talking fluently. Like, you know what I'm saying? Before he was even able to touch the field, he studies ball. He's an athlete. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he's always right in the position that he plays, but that's where the coaches come into play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like he's a blue chip kid. He's so versatile. He can play, he can be the corner. He can be the back. Like, he can be the cornerback. He's been that. Like, you know,
Yeah,
like he does all of that shit. And y'all take my kid out for what? He's a playmaker. Every time he got in there, he made plays, and y'all took him out for what? I'm on 1,000 today about that shit. And I don't know about anybody else in the years past and not speaking up or scared to speak up about the backlash or whatever. I don't know what that
mm-hmm.
is. I'm not scared of anything that has to do with my kid. I'm scared of my kid coming home emotionally fucked up from some shit that's not going right in his mind because he's like, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to. Why ain't I in?
well,
I
I
that
work
think
that and him not getting the opportunities that he should be getting
I
because
work
y'all
hard
messed
at
up.
practice. I'm a straight A student. I'm honor roll student. I work hard at practice. I do what I'm told or whatever. Why am I not getting in? Why am I not being used to my full potential?
That and there's another level beyond this, and because of the coaching staff or whatever, for him, if they drop the ball in what they're doing, he might not be able to see certain opportunities because of that.
no,
So
that's all it comes down to is there's a limited time frame that you have to reach your maximum potential, and they're playing around with it, and it's not even like you're winning. You got shut out.
mhm.
So whatever you're saying to the person who's trying to reach their maximum potential, obviously is not the right thing because what you're putting in the place of it's not working.
And
So
and, and that's what we were saying last night. So you took my kid out because you said he wasn't blocking, but we watched the film last night and he clearly was blocking. But even if that was the case, you never even said why you took him out. There wasn't no coach in his ear like, oh, I took you out because you did this right or wrong. And then the person you got in, they wasn't blocking and y'all still lost. So y'all need to make it make sense to me.
and see me being somebody who could be a coach, I would if that was the issue, I would have told them that before taking them out. You
They didn't even
you
say
don't
that
even get a
shit to my
chance.
kids, Harvey. And you know his dad is a coach. His dad is a football coach. He has 5 championships under his belt. Like he got undefeated seasons under his belt. He just went to Duquesne last year and turned their big team around and took them all the way to the championship. Some shit that ain't never happened in Duquesne and I don't know how long. And I'm from over there. So like there's nothing that's why I'm so amped up because they talk to you and they try to brush you off like you don't know football or you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that's
Mhm.
like a kid. Like it's just so many factors that comes into play with that shit. And I don't appreciate that shit when it comes to my kid. That's all I'm gonna just say. Like I don't
Yeah.
appreciate that shit. It's a problem and I'm on 1,000 about it and it's gonna work out.
It's definitely gonna work out. Shout out to Kanye, especially for that interception last night.
Yeah, he got an interception. He ran it back. He got a kickoff return. He ran it back for about 50 yards. He would have took it to the house, but everybody stopped blocking for him to watch him, knowing he was going to take it to the house. So they ain't even block for him. Like, so it was just like they knew he was going to take it to the house, and the blockers was like, he's gone. Yeah,
See
he was
that
gone, but y'all
that be
got
a
to stick a
problem when
block.
you play at
Mm-hmm.
school like that. They
Mm-hmm.
probably everybody was out their game. They probably was thinking they was just gonna beat their ass.
They did. They did. They did. So yeah,
But hopefully, this like you said, the season works out for him.
it
And
is. It's gonna work out. I have faith. It's gonna work out.
all right, so we
So
got Paul Kenya down. We're gonna
I
talk
know,
about
like,
verses.
yes, let's talk about verses
For
because
real.
we
I
know
told
that.
you I did not even want to I did not even want to talk about that because I told y'all know how I am. And I'm a female, and I feel like I get brushed off a lot about football talk. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like I don't be knowing what I'm talking about or
Hmm.
whatever, and I hate that too. Like you know what I'm saying? So that makes me be on 1,000. Like no, I'm not a coach, and I might not even know all the language and whatever.
Hmm.
One thing I do know is right and wrong.
Hmm.
I know that. So I feel like that's all I need to know.
But I think that's how somebody could probably come at me because I don't know a lot about the game. But that's why I like talking to you about the game because you are a woman who does know about the game. I mean, of course, my brothers know about the game too, but I really respect your opinion in a unique way because you are a woman and
I
you
thought we
And
know
you,
was
about
talking
the game.
about verses. Y'all, you don't keep her blood pressure up.
Sorry,
okay,
sorry, I'm trying to bring it down.
yes, yes.
It's knowledge on that beat.